The camera drifts over a quiet American neighborhood at dusk. Streetlights flicker on. A woman's footsteps echo on an empty sidewalk. Donna Logan had no idea she had just entered someone else's territory. This was not a crime of passion. This was not random. Investigators would later say the killer didn't just choose a victim. He chose a place, a hunting ground. And the man police would eventually focus on, Douglas Thompson, had been there before. But what happened next shocked everyone. Donna Logan was known as reliable, quiet, routine-driven. She worked, she went home, she kept to familiar routes. The kind of person who didn't take risks. She lived in a mid-sized American town where nothing ever seemed to happen. Tree-lined streets, familiar faces, predictable nights. Douglas Thompson, on the other hand, lived differently. He drifted, changed jobs often, moved between neighborhoods without drawing attention. Police would later note something chilling. Where Donna lived, Douglas had passed through. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. If you're drawn to cases like this, we post daily. Subscribe so you never miss a story that refuses to stay buried. Before her name appeared in police records, Donna Logan lived a life defined by order. She woke up early, left home at the same time every morning, walked the same routes, spoke to the same faces. Routine was her comfort. Friends described her as dependable, grounded, someone who didn't seek attention and didn't invite trouble. That predictability made her feel safe. It also made her visible. Donna's neighborhood was quiet, the kind of place where porch lights stayed on overnight, where neighbors assumed silence meant peace. Douglas Thompson moved through places like this often. He wasn't loud. He wasn't aggressive. He blended in. People remembered him only vaguely. A man seen near a bus stop. A man sitting in a parked car. A man who looked like he belonged anywhere and nowhere at once. Investigators would later describe him as a background presence. Someone who existed just outside notice. Weeks before Donna vanished, Douglas had been seen near her usual route. Not following her. Not approaching her. Watching. Serial offenders often begin by mapping behavior. Who passes through? At what time? How long they're alone? Donna never knew she was part of that map. On the night everything changed, nothing felt different. The air was calm. The streets were familiar. She followed her routine like she always did. No signs of fear. No reason to hurry. And that's what makes this part so unsettling. Because nothing about that night warned her. Douglas Thompson later claimed he was just passing through the area. Just another coincidence. But investigators would question why his movements kept aligning with Donna's schedule. Why he appeared in places tied to her routine without explanation. According to criminal psychologists, hunting grounds are chosen long before a crime happens. Killers test locations, observe reactions, measure risk. Donna's route offered something dangerous: predictability, privacy, and silence. As she moved through familiar streets, she believed she was safe. She had no idea someone else had already claimed that space. And by the time the routine broke, it was already too late. Because the most terrifying part of this case isn't what happened next. It's how quietly everything before it fell into place. The night Donna Logan disappeared did not announce itself with chaos. There were no screams, no frantic phone calls, no neighbors rushing outside. Just a routine evening that ended in absence. Donna was last seen moving along her usual path. The same sidewalk she had walked dozens of times before. Streetlights spaced just far enough apart to leave pockets of shadow. A witness later recalled a car parked nearby, engine running, headlights off. At the time it meant nothing. Investigators believe Donna didn't realize she was in danger. There were no signs of resistance where she was last seen. No scattered belongings. No indication she tried to run. That suggests compliance. Criminal profilers note that predators often rely on authority, familiarity, or calm control rather than force. A quiet voice. A reason that sounds reasonable. Something that doesn't trigger panic. What happened next unfolded quickly. Donna failed to arrive where she was expected later that evening. At first, people assumed a delay, then concern, then fear. When police began searching, they found something unsettling. Her personal items weren't destroyed. They weren't abandoned carelessly. They were placed. That detail shifted the investigation immediately. Placement suggests intention, control, time. This was not a hurried crime. Douglas Thompson's name entered the conversation during early canvassing. He had been seen in the area. His explanation was vague. His timeline had gaps. Nothing incriminating on its own, but enough to raise eyebrows. Neighbors described hearing a vehicle pull away that night. Not fast. Not aggressive. Come. Police expanded the search radius. Checked nearby roads, wooded areas, transit routes. But the trail thinned quickly. No clear physical evidence. No forensic breakthrough. Just the growing realization that whoever took Donna knew exactly where to do it. This wasn't about opportunity alone. It was about environment. A place chosen because it offered cover, predictable movement, and silence. As hours turned into days, investigators faced a harsh truth. Donna Logan didn't vanish by accident. She was taken by someone who had already decided this was the right place. And the question that now haunted detectives was simple. How long had he been waiting? The investigation into Donna Logan's disappearance began with urgency and optimism. Detectives believed the first 48 hours would be critical. They mapped her final movements minute by minute. Who saw her? Where she went? What changed? At first, the list of suspects was long. Co-workers, neighbors, former acquaintances, nothing connected. But then, patterns began to surface. Investigators noticed that Donna's routine had been unusually consistent in the weeks before she vanished. Same routes, same timing, very little variation. That consistency became the backbone of the case. But then, phone records revealed something odd. Douglas Thompson's mobile device had pinged off towers that placed him near Donna's usual path on multiple evenings. Not just the night she disappeared. Several nights before, and several nights after. Douglas claimed coincidence. He said he drove through the area often. Said it was a shortcut. But then, detectives checked maps. There was no practical reason for him to be there. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses offered brief, grainy glimpses. A vehicle similar to Douglas's, parked, idling. Never clear enough for certainty. But then, a former coworker came forward. They recalled Douglas talking about places where people don't get involved. Places where help doesn't come quickly. Places where silence protects the wrong person. That statement shifted the tone of the investigation. Detectives began re-examining other unsolved cases. Women. Different towns. Different years. But similar settings. Public spaces that felt private. Transitional areas where people passed through alone. But then, travel records placed Douglas near those towns during the same windows. Still, nothing was definitive. Search warrants turned up no physical evidence tying him directly to Donna. No DNA. No belongings. And that's where the case began to fracture. Some investigators believed they were circling the right person. Others feared tunnel vision. But then, a behavioral analyst reviewing the file made a chilling observation. Douglas didn't just appear near victims. He appeared near places. Bus stops. Side streets. Parking areas. Locations that allowed observation without engagement. That insight reframed everything. This wasn't a predator reacting to opportunity. This was a predator selecting terrain. Donna Logan's route fit the pattern perfectly. The investigation slowed. Resources shifted. Leads dried up. But Douglas Thompson's name never left the board. Every new tip, every new angle, it came back to him. And as months passed, detectives were left with a truth they couldn't escape. They didn't lack a suspect. They lacked proof. And in cases like this, that difference changes everything. Because someone knew what happened to Donna Logan. And they were still free. As the investigation stretched from months into years, the case of Donna Logan slowly shifted from active pursuit to quiet persistence. There was no official closure. No courtroom moment. No verdict read aloud. Just unanswered questions. Douglas Thompson remained a person of interest. Never charged. Never cleared. He cooperated when asked. Answered questions carefully. Never contradicted himself outright. Investigators noted how controlled he was. How measured his words sounded. As time passed, Douglas moved on. Changed jobs. Changed addresses. Changed routines. Donna never got that chance. Her name stayed in the system. Flagged. Reviewed. Reopened. Years later, cold case analysts revisited the evidence with fresh eyes. They noticed something earlier teams had only hinted at. Douglas didn't simply pass through Donna's neighborhood. He lingered. Traffic data, parking patterns, and witness recollections painted a picture of someone spending time in places where he had no reason to be. And yet, it still wasn't enough. No DNA. No confession. No witness willing to testify with certainty. In the eyes of the law, suspicion isn't proof. Behavioral experts were asked to weigh in. They described the crime as consistent with spatially aware predators. Individuals who commit crimes in areas they've tested repeatedly. These offenders don't panic. They plan exits. They choose moments when intervention is unlikely. Donna Logan's disappearance matched that model almost perfectly. But models don't win convictions. Over time, the case became a warning rather than a resolution. A reminder that some crimes exist in the space between what is known and what can be proven. Detectives continued to believe that Donna did not vanish randomly, that her disappearance was the result of deliberate selection, of a place, of a moment, of control. Douglas Thompson eventually faded from public view. No arrest, no headline, just a name that never quite went away. Today, Donna Logan's case remains open, still waiting, still unresolved. Some investigators believe one detail has yet to surface. A witness who hasn't spoken. A memory that hasn't been triggered. Others believe the truth is already there, just out of reach. The truth may still be out there. And until it surfaces, the silence surrounding Donna Logan's disappearance continues to echo. Because the most unsettling part of this case isn't what we know. It's what someone chose to take with them. When investigators and behavioral experts examined the disappearance of Donna Logan, one conclusion stood out. This was not impulsive. Criminal psychology shows that many serial offenders do not begin by choosing a victim. They begin by choosing a place. These individuals are known as spatial predators. They study environments the way others study people. They look for routines, predictability, moments when control can be exercised quietly. Douglas Thompson's behavior, as documented by investigators, aligns with this pattern. He appeared repeatedly in transitional spaces, areas where people pass through alone, bus stops, side streets, parking zones. These locations reduce the risk of witnesses and increase psychological dominance. Predators like this rely on compliance, not chaos. Instead of force, they use calm authority, a request that sounds reasonable, a presence that doesn't feel immediately threatening. This lowers a victim's natural alarm response. Donna Logan's routine made her vulnerable in a very specific way. Consistency creates comfort. Comfort reduces vigilance. Psychologically, the offender benefits from repetition. Each successful observation reinforces confidence. Each unnoticed presence strengthens the sense of control. Over time, the environment itself becomes part of the offender's identity, a hunting ground. Behavioral analysts also note emotional detachment in offenders who plan crimes this way. They compartmentalize. They separate the act from the aftermath. This explains why suspects like Douglas can remain calm, cooperative, and seemingly unaffected during questioning. There is no visible panic because in their mind the plan worked. What makes these cases especially disturbing is that the danger isn't dramatic. It's subtle. The psychology isn't driven by rage. It's driven by ownership. Ownership of space. Ownership of timing. Ownership of silence. And once that psychological pattern is established, it rarely stops on its own. That is why unresolved cases like Donna Logan's continue to trouble investigators. Because the behavior suggests repetition. And repetition suggests more than one victim. Donna Logan's story doesn't end with answers. It ends with absence. A routine that never resumed. A life paused in a place that once felt safe. What happened to her forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Some crimes don't rely on violence in the open. They rely on patience, on familiarity, on spaces we stop questioning. Douglas Thompson may never stand before a judge for this case. But the questions surrounding him refused to disappear. Was Donna chosen? Or was the place chosen first? That question matters. Because hunting grounds don't vanish when attention fades. They remain, waiting for the next routine, the next moment of trust. Cases like this stay open not just because of missing evidence but because they warn us. They remind us that danger can exist quietly, in between streetlights, in familiar paths, in places we pass through every day. If this story unsettled you, it should. Because Donna Logan is more than a case file. She is a reminder. Subscribe to Behind the Crime and watch our next case. And ask yourself one final question. How well do you really know the places you trust?